On this week's episode of BJ in the Morning, we're going to talk about the highest grossing movie at the box office. Let's go. Welcome to BJ in the Morning. I'm Juan.
I'm Brendan.
And this is BJ in the Morning, baby.
This is BJ in the Morning.
We're just going to do it the same way every single time forever.
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 Add on to my intro, the highest grossing box office movie of 2023.
Just the one movie?
Yeah, I forgot to slide that in there.
Just the one movie?
Top 10. Top 10 highest grossing box office movies. See, it just the way I did it just flowed better.
No, I get
you know what I mean?
I get it. That's why I didn't stop you.
So
I just let you do your thing.
Top 10 highest grossing movies at the box office in 2023.
Yeah, man.
How's that sound?
It sounds good. Like I said,
great.
I just pawned the intro off on you today.
Yeah, it's all good.
3 hours of sleep will just take it out of you.
I don't mind doing it.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing it at all.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, we're gonna jump into this list at some point in this episode. Top 10 like domestic box office earning movies with monies and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. But there was a lot of movies that came out this year according to Wikipedia. Or IMDb. I think it was on IMDb. I saw it. It's like 18,000 movies came out in 2023.
Really?
But that doesn't mean they're all good.
Right.
Right. So
yeah. And I'm sure a lot of them were like, I don't know, Hallmark movies, Lifetime movies.
And then there's like Bollywood like pumping out movie after movie, you know.
Yeah.
So do your thing.
Do your thing.
I heard RRR was really good.
What's that?
It's some action movie from India that's like ridiculous stunts and graphics and stuff like that. It's wild.
Is that the one where it's like The Matrix, but they're like, oh yeah, I heard
like
about that.
superhero stuff. Yeah, I heard about it. Never watched it, but
that
I've
came
seen
out
clips.
this year.
No, I'm just saying like they just pump movies out that are like insane and crazy like that because they can, and they make them fun and exciting, and we're talking about them still. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I didn't see tons of movies this year. Did you?
No, I feel like I didn't, especially in retrospect of like how many movies came out.
18,000.
I think I watched not even like a quarter of that. Not even a quarter. Maybe an eighth.
I think I saw like 6 movies in theaters this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw a couple.
Especially since last year, you know, we saw a ton of movies last year. So
we did.
Or in 2022.
2022. Yeah, 2022.
We saw tons of movies before we were doing the podcast again.
Yeah. Crazy.
But you want to talk about the movies that came out this year?
Yeah, we can talk about it. We're going to start with number 10.
Yeah, dude, because neither one of us watched it.
Yeah. Neither one of us watched it. So number 10, which I'm actually surprised that it's on the list because is it a movie?
I think it's like.
Well, we haven't seen it, so we don't know if it's a movie.
It's like a documentary.
It's the Taylor Swift Eras Tour.
So all you fans out there who know what this is, tell us in the comments down below.
Yeah, what happened? If you watch this movie, what the heck happened in that movie?
I'm pretty sure it's just like the concert done with like professional like cinema cameras and stuff.
So this is number 10.
And I feel like this movie just came out.
It did, and that's why I'm actually really surprised that it made this list because in the domestic box office, it grossed $179,635,196.
How much?
That is $179,635,196 doll hairs.
And the international box office brought in $250.3 million.
$250.3 million.
And it was released in October of this year, so it has been out for a couple months.
I guess.
But I mean, for what it is.
But how much did she make doing the tour?
Mm-hmm.
Yet alone releasing a movie.
The money she got from this movie is just like change, like
She doesn't even know about
she doesn't even know. But according to Wikipedia, the Eras Tour is a 2023 American concert film produced by Taylor Swift. So it was a documentary of her tour. Of the Eras Tour, that one that we talked about on the last episode too, which is funny.
What a genius.
She's
so, yeah, she is. She's doing it, dude.
Yeah, you're doing the right things.
You're doing it.
Taylor Swift, T Sweezy.
Congrats.
Good job. Keep
Congratulations. Don't stop.
Don't stop till you get enough.
Don't stop till you get enough.
There you go.
Shamo.
But I feel like a lot of artists have done these kind of things before, especially big pop stars.
Yeah, but never in theater.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing.
No, there was like a Jonas Brothers one, I'm pretty sure.
In the theater?
Yeah, there was probably a Hannah Montana one. There's been a few, I'm pretty sure. I can try to look it up.
Michael Jackson?
Probably, I don't know.
Or was that a memoir or a biopic?
Rockumentaries.
Rockumentary.
There's probably been a lot, Justin Bieber, Never Say Never. You remember that one?
No.
Michael Jackson's This Is It.
Yes.
Yeah. Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus, Best of Both Worlds concert. One Direction, This Is Us. Eddie Murphy Raw is apparently in this list.
That came out in theater?
Yeah.
Recently? No, not recently.
Not recently, but
Katy
Perry, Part of Me.
Really?
Yeah, the Jonas Brothers 3D concert experience. You don't remember that?
No.
Kevin Hart's What Now?
That came out in theater?
Yeah, Glee, the 3D concert movie.
What?
Metallica, Through the Never.
I've never heard of any of these.
BTS World Tour, Love Yourself and Soul.
BTS? What is that?
I don't know. I'm just reading off this list. 90% of this list, I have no idea what it is.
Before the sack.
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that. That sounds great.
I don't even know what BTS is. But apparently they had a movie.
Eventually, at some point, they had a movie. But yeah, no. It's big concerts produced with like expensive cameras and film editing and all that kind of stuff.
I've only heard of one of those concerts.
Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour.
And it was the Michael Jackson one.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I saw it in theaters, but I remember it being in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I didn't even know the Taylor Swift Eras Tour was a thing in theaters.
Well, it is. We were supposed to go watch it, and then we ended up not.
I'm sure you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what's next on the list, Juan?
Number 9 on the list is a controversial movie.
Mm-hmm.
And is also why I'm surprised that it's on this list.
Yeah.
Because it was so controversial. But number 9 is The Sound of Freedom.
So I heard a lot about this movie from TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I ever saw just people talking about it.
I saw people talking about it, like saying that the movie theaters or companies were trying to like turn off the air conditioning to make people leave.
Yeah, they didn't want people to watch the movie.
And try to like do technical difficulties and have people wait hours just to watch it. Like, I don't know how true all that is, but if it is true, it's like what I didn't watch this movie, but what was in this movie? Well, we know what was in the movie.
Yeah, we don't really need to talk about it.
No, we don't.
Much, right?
But we know what was in this movie. But what specifically was being shown in this movie or leaked?
Like information about things and people and because I feel like this movie happened because of other events that happened, like When big people like stars in Hollywood, government, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We all know who I'm talking about. I really am trying to just avoid like saying trigger words and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when these people are accused of things,
Mm-hmm.
they want to keep themselves out of it, right? So doing all these things that people said, like turning off the air conditioning and like, oh, this company doesn't want you to see this movie. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, if the company really didn't want you to think these things, like they wouldn't, I don't think they'd go that far.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't, reacting is just way, like blowing it way out of proportion, I think.
Well, this movie was released by Angel Studios.
Never heard of it.
Let's see if I can read up on it real
It
quick.
came out the 4th of July.
Angel Studios is an American media company based in Provo, Utah, or
Mhm.
Provo, Utah.
I don't know. I've never been there.
Yeah, it's just I've never heard of this studio before, but
I think it is an independent studio, and they produced this movie. I don't know what else they might have released, but this was an independent film. It grossed $250 million against like a $14.5 million budget, so it made money.
they've done a lot of like religious movies.
Yeah,
Which is I mean, I guess that's cool, but it's hard to say too, because you never know. You never really know what the truth is,
right.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
And if all this is true, everything that happened in that movie, that's a big deal.
yeah, right.
And just the fact that the movie was released and it made, we never say how much it made, $184,174,617.
Yeah, just in the U.S.
Right, just in the U.S.
and $250 million
But
worldwide.
like, if this movie was 100% true, I'm not saying it's not, but if it is, I feel like people would have done more than just turn off the air conditioner to get people to not watch it. You know what I'm saying?
It's just a tricky situation when it comes down to movies like this, and a lot of the profit that it did make was just from the U.S., so it didn't have a wide release. It seems like it just deals with the U.S. topics for the most part.
Yeah.
The subject matter of this movie is pretty terrible. Like, it is a huge problem, especially it's wild that the subject matter of this movie like is a huge deal here where like we live in this state. And it is a true thing that happens. There's got to be people involved in stuff like that are probably high ups in certain areas. You know, it really depends on where you're looking though. But it's an independent movie that was released independently. I don't know. It's just, it was such a controversial thing, and I really didn't pay that much attention to it. Mainly because I don't know where all the information comes from.
Yeah.
It's just not something I would go to a theater to watch.
Yeah.
Especially because like the matter of the movie like is just really disgusting. So.
Right.
But we can move on if you're down to move on.
Yeah, let's move on
to something a little more. It's not. It's a little more lighthearted in retrospect.
Yeah.
That's not the word.
Comparison.
There we go.
Number 8. John Wick 4.
Did you see this one?
John Wick Chapter 4. I watched half of it when it came out. You know, when I could watch it not in a theater. John Wick is cool. I love the movies. 1, 2, and 3 were great. I just couldn't finish 4.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, it just didn't hold my attention.
I can understand that.
And
I've watched the first John Wick. That's it.
It's good.
Most of the time, though, I was like, oh, this is a cool scene, and then I'm just scrolling on my phone.
It's the same movie.
Yeah. And was there more CGI dog poop?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
But this movie made a little bit of change. Yeah. $187 million. Do you want me to read the whole number?
Yeah.
Like you have been? Okay, so $187,131,806 in the U.S. box office.
Jeez.
Which is a little bit of money.
Can I have just one of those millions?
Just one?
Just one.
1 million? Or?
Yeah, just one.
Hell, I'll take $6 right now.
Yeah. The $6 on the back?
Yeah.
Just chop it off.
Just a little bit. Just to get a
Throw it this
rounded
way,
number. But yeah, I didn't see this one, obviously. I bought all 3 of the first John Wick movies, and I just wasn't into it. I don't understand the hype. I don't understand, like, it is cool. The scenes are cool, but...
That's all it is. Just cool fight scenes.
Yeah. We like Keanu.
We do like Keanu.
We like Keanu.
But yeah, there's not much to say about John Wick, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna move on to the next one, which we both saw.
Yeah.
And we both talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Quantumania.
And that made $214,506,909 at the domestic box office.
And it was 476.1 million worldwide.
Only 200 more million?
Yeah, there's a lot of things when it comes to superhero movies. But also this movie wasn't like received well by a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people are experiencing the Marvel, what's the word I'm looking for? Fatigue. We talked about this. Yeah, the Marvel fatigue's real, and I really think this movie was at like the peak of fatigue, you know? There's a lot of things going on in this movie. I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. I remember leaving the theater and being like, that was fun. I like Ant-Man a lot. But I think the biggest problem, and we started seeing it with this movie and with Loki season 1, is they're trying to set up so much stuff, and I think it's fallen short. But now, apparently, it doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
So
sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. We know this. But the difference between, Marvel leading up to Endgame, right? It was so linear.
Yeah.
It was so one direction. It was, hey, Thanos. He's coming eventually.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? You know? What is happening to cause Thanos for us to get to the end?
Yeah.
To see Thanos,
Yeah.
right? Now they're setting up the multiverse. They're setting up Kang the Conqueror. They're setting up bringing in all these other
branching timelines
characters.
And
there's just so much that it could get confusing. And it's cool. Like all these shows and movies are awesome to watch, but they're all their own thing.
Yeah, they don't really have a cohesive
If you're
message.
thinking about it like, hey, this is Marvel, how does this link into Marvel? They're not linking in at all. Which I feel like they're trying to, and they're not successful.
Yeah, I think a lot of the like tying it into old Marvel stuff is just like mentioning Thanos or mentioning the blip or like the movie that handled it the best was like Spider-Man, you know, like just like kind of what was it, Far From Home, just like touching on like the blip happened and now this kid that was younger than you is the same age as you, you know. I think they handled it well, and then there was a bunch of other stuff where it's just like you see Thanos was right, like in graffiti, and that's all they mention, and you're like, this is a huge event that happened. Did Thanos' snap and the 2 other snaps like have any effect on the world now?
Yeah,
because it doesn't seem like it. You know what I mean? Except for there's different ages of people now. Like,
yeah, people were gone and now they're back. That's it.
We haven't really seen like the aftermath of that kind of stuff in a good way.
I don't think we will.
No, and is that bad? Is that good? I don't know. I'm not one to tell. But there's nothing linking that story with whatever story they're trying to do now, which also doesn't feel like it's linked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really, I feel like the only way that Ant-Man and the Wasp and anything going on right now is the mention of Kang in one other show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did they mention him anywhere else?
Not really.
Yeah,
No.
you know what I mean? So I get what you're saying. It's like there's so many different side stories going on right now that they don't feel like they're going to funnel into the final battle that they're planning. But again, with all the stuff going outside of the movie world, with the actors and stuff, like, we don't know what's going to happen next.
At this point, it just feels like, hey, once we get to Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, remember Shang-Chi?
Oh, yeah.
Here you go.
That movie's so good.
It is great. That's a great movie.
So good.
Yeah.
But no, never mind. I'm blurring things together, and I don't want to talk about What If. So,
yeah, which we should after the episode.
Yeah, but not on it just yet because the season finale just aired like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
By the time you're listening, it's been a couple weeks, but it's still not enough time for you.
Sure.
If you haven't watched, I'm not saying you. I'm saying the listener.
We should do a breakdown of What If because that is one of the shows that was great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to find things to talk about with Marvel because a lot of the writers at Disney, not just Marvel, but Disney itself, are just not doing it.
Yeah, and I think we can tie this conversation back into the number 3 movie on this list.
Is it number 3?
We can tie it back when we get to that one. Just what you said right now.
Well, we can also tie it in with number 6
and 4. But the writers at Disney, right? That seems to be the people that they're like contracting or bringing in, or the writers they already have on staff to write some of these movies. They don't seem to know what they're doing either.
Yeah.
Do we know what we would be doing if we were in their shoes? No. Because I don't think Kevin Feige can keep it straight right now. I think there's too much. We did all this cool stuff. We did all this awesome stuff leading up to Thanos and Endgame and all these things, right? Epic. Can you live up to that?
I mean, they've been king of the hill for over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
How long can you keep it up?
You know,
I feel like it's inevitable.
It's like heavy lies the crown kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not the Scene Aesthetic song, but like the saying. But why don't we jump into number 6 on the list? Which is The Little Mermaid.
Right.
Which made $298,172,056.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never watched this movie.
You did it?
I have not.
I did.
I like The Little Mermaid like as a kid, like the animated one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's one of my favorite Disney movies.
Yeah. I saw it in theater.
Mm-hmm.
I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I saw it at home.
Fell asleep.
I fell asleep. And I saw it. I think I finally finished it like my 3rd or 4th time trying to watch it. This movie is all over the place. This movie is The Little Mermaid, and the story, I guess, is as close as it gets, you know, when it comes to being like the original.
Yeah.
Which was a complaint that I had when they did, you know, Lion King or Mulan especially. Like,
did you ever watch the live action Pinocchio?
No, but I thought about watching it.
Don't.
No?
It's bad. But it is like so much exactly how the cartoon is that it's almost not worth watching.
It doesn't portray the same in
like,
live action.
All the characters look exactly like they did in cartoon, but now it's 3D animation. And it's hard to say, again, the argument of these movies is like, is it live action if 99% of it is CG? No. It's just a different kind of animation. But like, there's not a lot of things going on in like Pinocchio that's not CG. Some of the visuals are cool, but that movie was so boring and so hard to watch. I'd rather watch the cartoon. And that's, I think, the last time I watched like a remake of any of these.
Was Pinocchio.
But I think this is the one after that one, because that one came out like 3 years ago or something, 2 years ago.
I'm not sure.
But The Little Mermaid just didn't stand out to me. I don't think it had like the wow factor that like Jungle Book did. Like,
yeah,
I still really like the modern Jungle Book movie. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
But I think like, I don't know. It's like, just have fun with it. Make it a 3D animation. Give Pixar the reins. I don't know. Like,
yeah. I think personally, we need to stop. Hey, Disney.
Hey, Disney.
And other movie companies.
But mostly Disney.
Hey, how about we stop remaking movies?
How about
if
you're gonna remake a movie, you stop?
How about have an original idea?
Yeah, how about reach out to other people that don't just work for you and watch the same movies over and over again and have to follow a formula or something.
How about
just
stop?
How about just don't go?
How about stop? I'm just really tired of remakes.
The way you said that right now just reminded me of Garth.
Garth?
Yeah.
Which part?
Just like the product placement scene.
Oh.
This is really sad.
Yeah.
You're picturing it. You watched the whole scene in your head right now, didn't you?
I just did.
But yeah, no, I get it. We're tired. It's getting old. All these remakes.
Getting old. And it's not hitting.
No, and I don't know. What was the last time that you watched a remake and were like, yeah, this was sick? Maybe we got to do a whole episode on that.
Just remakes?
Yeah, just the good, the bad, the worst.
And the ugly.
That's a good one.
That's a good episode. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, let's move on then.
Next week.
But also, Little Mermaid, I just wasn't feeling it. I hasn't really been the thing for me right now. Maybe eventually I'll get bored and put it on.
Yeah.
But it took me like 3 years to watch the live action Lion King. So, live action Lion King.
Yeah.
I don't know. Number 5 though?
Number 5 is Oppenheimer.
Haven't seen it. But how much money did it make, and how much money would I have contributed if I did watch it?
Oppenheimer brought in a whopping $326,098,985
in the domestic box office.
Dollars in the domestic box office
with the money and the popcorn and the sodas. Wait, those monies don't go into it. With the movie tickets and
right.
Yeah, I didn't see this movie. I really wanted to go see it in the IMAX like special screening, and they were only showing it for like one day here in town. So
yeah, I felt like I felt like if we were gonna see it, it should have been in the IMAX.
Yeah.
Now, sure, like if people
you've seen it now, right?
I've seen it recently. Yes.
Yeah, we talked about it on the last podcast.
Yeah. Watching it now, I don't understand why we should have seen it in IMAX. Yeah, why it was such a big deal for everyone to say, don't watch it in the theater, only watch it on IMAX, true IMAX.
I think a lot of it is just because what's his fuck? Christopher Nolan,
right?
Recreated an atomic bomb for real without you know what I mean, like replicated it practically. So like, cool, there's a lot of really great actors in this movie. There's a lot of cool things. I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Let me tell you something though.
Tell me something though.
I don't know if it's gonna spoil the movie if you haven't seen it.
At the very end.
Not even. It was like 3/4
Yeah.
of the way through the movie.
Yeah.
Which is, in a 3-hour movie,
Mm-hmm.
like 2.5 hours in.
Yeah.
You know? Sure, it's at the very end. That doesn't matter.
Mm.
But if you're going to be, if people, I want to say people of the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to say, only watch it in IMAX, and you make me excited to go watch it in IMAX, and there's only one scene that is worth seeing in IMAX?
I get it. I get what you're saying. And you said this was streaming already? Or did you buy it? Your mom. Yeah, that's right.
My parents bought it, yeah.
It's so funny that the episode where we already talked about all this stuff just came out.
Yeah.
But it's like weeks ago for us. Like, so I'm trying to come back to it all.
Yeah.
I want to watch it. I just haven't had a chance to yet. It'll happen, and I think it's one of those movies I'm gonna watch alone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm gonna enjoy it. You know what'd be funny? Just watch it on the Quest.
Yeah, that would be great. I say yes, watch it alone, because if you have to stop or take your attention away from it,
you're gonna lose it.
You won't understand what's going on.
And I like biographical movies and stuff. I know a lot about Oppenheimer and like the development of the atomic bomb and like the history of World War II and everything. Like, it fascinated me to read up on all these things and learn about it even before this movie was coming out.
So during that movie, they brought up the H-bomb.
The hydrogen bomb.
And I thought they were going to take a wildly different turn.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, like, oh, we're going to get to the atom bomb. And then they talked about bombing Japan and all that stuff. And then I thought it was going to be like, oh, shit, now we have to develop this hydrogen bomb to be ahead of the game, be ahead of Russia, be ahead of Germany, whoever's trying to continue to build these bombs. And the end of the movie gets really dark in a way that I also don't want to spoil it for you.
It's a history movie, so if it's historical, like I said, I know about like the end of like how things happened after the bombs were dropped, if it has to deal with that, but like you don't need to spoil it for any of us right now.
No, I don't want to spoil it, but it has to do with Oppenheimer himself and his thoughts.
Yeah, because I know he was a really weird, like, kind of messed up dude. Like, he didn't like process things the way that other scientists were at the time.
Yeah, but the fact that his bomb hurt people, lots of people, it kind of messed him up.
Oh yeah, no,
And after the fact, you know, they didn't clear his security clearance. That's this whole movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie is the fact, why is Oppenheimer not being cleared to make another bomb? And why was he cleared in the first place to make this bomb? That's basically the whole movie right there. And then they start off with, you know, them interviewing him from the end of the movie. And then they start filling in the gaps and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
So when they bring up the hydrogen bomb, at the end of the movie, they like cleared, you know, a project for the hydrogen bomb, but Oppenheimer had nothing to do with it.
Right.
And I personally just thought it was going to take a weird turn on like, okay, now we talked about the atom bomb, now the hydrogen bomb, but it didn't even like touch on any of that.
Yeah.
But basically the end of the movie is just Oppenheimer concerned that
like his name's attached to that.
Well, they're the reason for the end of the world is the thing.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch it. You didn't ruin anything for me.
Okay.
It's one of those movies where I didn't need to run to the theater unless I like seeing movies in IMAX. Cool. It would have been fun, I'm sure. I'm sure we can sit here and say like, oh, I don't see why it was worth it, but it would have been different if we went, you know? Just the experience alone of IMAX is really sick.
Yeah.
But it wasn't one of the movies like the next 3 where I was like, I got to go see this movie right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? so we can always swing back to Oppenheimer at a later date after I watch it. But we can also jump right into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which made $358,000,000, 995,815.
Dang.
Which is a really solid number for Marvel movies in this day and age.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're going to swing back to this for the next two on the list about Disney writers.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy's writers nailed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, wow, I'm struggling with names today. I should sleep more.
James Gunn.
I think James Gunn had a vision, and Disney was just like, yeah, finish it. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I think Volume 3 is better than Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's better than Volume 1, and I think a lot of that just has to do with the fact that it was so iconic when it came out.
Yeah.
But this movie made it did a lot, you know?
Yeah.
I really love that the movie starts out with action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Adam coming straight down and just messing them up.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really great way to start it. The High Evolutionary is pretty terrifying. Rocket's backstory, finally, we got it after speculating and everything.
Mm-hmm.
This movie makes you cry, it makes you laugh. It's action-packed. I have only watched it, I think, twice since...
Oh, I've seen it like 4 or 5 times.
I definitely need to watch it again. I did start it a couple weeks ago. And that opening scene is just so good.
It's great. Yeah.
There is some big differences, like technically, with this movie from the last two.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn does a lot of whip pans in this. Did you notice? Where like the camera just like whips over to something else and then whips back.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little jarring after you forget that they're a thing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot in the opening scene.
Yeah.
But dang, dude, this movie just like completed the circle.
Yeah.
For Guardians.
And James Gunn definitely did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they let him take the reins
and just do his thing
was the best thing.
Yeah.
But that's where Disney is messing up.
Yeah.
Because they're not letting the directors and the writers take the reins.
Mm-hmm.
Disney has their own set of writers,
mm-hmm.
and they're trying to implement what they want to your story. They're like, oh, hey, you can make this movie. Go ahead and write it. But now that you've written this whole entire movie, we're actually going to change this and we're going to add this.
Mm-hmm.
Or we want this.
Yeah.
Or we want the diversity or whatever whatever message they want to put in there.
We're going to gender swap every single character. We're going to make this character a little kid and make this character really old, and now they're different characters, but they're actually the same character.
And that's where a lot of that stuff gets confusing because they're like, "Oh, hey, this character was supposed to be a boy. Mm-hmm. Now it's a girl."
Yeah.
That's fine, but it was written for a boy.
Yeah, like in the original script.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just doesn't relay the same message.
Mm-hmm.
And
I will say, like, just in this aspect of things, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, it's fine.
But, like, they changed Cosmo to a girl dog instead of a boy dog from
mm-hmm.
the original, like, comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Cosmo's like a Russian dog.
Yeah.
Right? And do you remember the actress's name? It's tough because it's
Russian.
Anyways, I don't want to look it up. But she was in the Borat sequel, right? But then she voices Cosmo, and Cosmo is one of those characters in Marvel that I've always just been like, I like Cosmo.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite version of Cosmo, honestly.
Yeah.
With the puppies and everything, great version of Cosmo.
Well, if it works, it works.
If it works, it works. Right.
But I also heard, and we don't have to talk about it now,
mm-hmm.
but I also heard that Ryan Reynolds was actually in a lawsuit with Disney,
mm-hmm.
potentially. This could be complete. Don't mark my words on this because it could be.
Check the facts.
Completely.
Show me the Carfax.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I heard, one of the things that Ryan Reynolds wanted when he joined Marvel,
mm-hmm.
not Fox, Marvel, was that he wanted full control of Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted Deadpool to be Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted Deadpool to be rated R.
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to continue what he was doing with Fox, but with Marvel.
Yeah.
They said yes.
But now they're like, well, we didn't really say yes.
Actually. But yeah, now they want to add in this other shit, or they want him to tone it down, or whatever the deal is.
I think we've talked about like my ideal, like bring Deadpool into other movies type of thing, right? Where it's like, let Deadpool know that he's in a PG-13 movie. Mm-hmm. Well, he can't cuss, it bleeps it out, and he knows it, he hears it, he can acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You make the joke a couple times, and then he just stops doing it because he's sick of it. That's it. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
But look at Guardians of the Galaxy and how different it is from the last couple Marvel movies, especially Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like, cool, are they both bright and colorful? They take place in, like, I don't know if I'd consider Guardians, like, in a different, like, spectral plane or anything like that. It's not a different dimension. Mm-hmm. But it's, you have Guardians out here, you have Ant-Man, and then you have the Quantum Verse, right? Is that what they call it?
The Quantum Realm.
Quantum Realm. There's lots of verses going on. So the Quantum Realm,
Quantum Verse.
But like they're all just layers on top of each other. So they should be able to mirror each other. They should be able to like feed off of each other. But Guardians of the Galaxy was its own thing. Mm-hmm. Are there implementations that it could expand elsewhere? Yeah. We don't know what else the High Evolutionary did. Mm-hmm. Right? We don't know what else, the Guardians have had their hands in. And the fact that we also got the Christmas special for the Guardians where they came to Earth and kidnapped Kevin Bacon, and that is canon. You know what I mean? Like, there's these little things that weave in and out of it. And I don't know, the Guardians just, it did what Ant-Man and the Wasp didn't for me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I love Paul Rudd so much, and I love the Ant-Man character that was started in the first Ant-Man movie. Mm-hmm. But Guardians was the superior Disney Marvel movie of this year, I think, for sure.
Agreed.
And the box office says it.
It sure does.
Sure does.
Brother.
Yeah, brother.
Number 3 on our list.
Again, ties into the conversation.
With the same shit we've been talking about this whole time. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This one was released by Sony. Mm-hmm. With Marvel. And they brought in $311,319.
So, wrapping it back into the last conversation.
They're all $381,311,319 doll hairs.
Lots of threes for the second movie in the franchise. So I think when the first Spider-Man like Sony movie came out, right? Like the Spider-Verse movies. It was so different and so like a breath of fresh air for the Spider-Man everything, right? We have so many different Spider-Man movies. Yeah. And I love that like No Way Home bridged the gap and made them all make sense. Spider-Verse made them all make sense even more. And then Across the Spider-Verse was like, guess what?
Hey.
There's a Spider-Verse. Hey. It's fine. Yeah.
This one was such a breath of fresh air because it was a animated Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man.
In The Amazing Spider-Man 2 when he gets sick. He's like, I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah. But this was an animated Spider-Man movie that was not a children's movie or show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Which was pretty... I mean, kids can still watch it, obviously, but it was like...
It was made for...
It had
the older
story.
Yeah.
And they had a story that was leading in to something else, which is great. When you see the first one and then the second one comes out and then you can see how long ago they wanted to tie everything in. Like it's like they wrote the second and the third movies at the same time as writing the first one.
Right. It all fits.
They
so
wrote
well.
one long movie and just broke it into 3.
Yeah, and I do remember when this one came out, everyone complained that it was a part 1, and it's like, of course it's a part 1.
Well,
They told us
they did
in the first movie,
right
you know?
right away.
right
Yeah.
away. But this felt like such a different movie. Like, it didn't feel like a Marvel movie whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that I think Into the Spider-Verse had Marvel aspects to it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But this one really set itself apart. But it also tied it all together with the live action Spider-Man movies. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And how do you make it make sense? Because that was the question we all had, was like, how is this tying into the live action ones?
Mm-hmm.
And at first you're like, it's an animated movie. How's it going to tie in? And then Donald Glover shows up, you know? Like,
yeah.
And they tie it all so well, and they make it all make sense. And in this movie, they show you even more like realities that the live action movies might be a little afraid to get into, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's the Lego dimension, which I thought was really sick. Like,
It's awesome. Yeah.
they're whatever. And then when the Spot just decides to go to Venom's universe,
Yeah.
and it didn't take you out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it
Mhm.
didn't seem like so crazy.
Yeah.
And then when you see the room filled with thousands of Spider-Mans and women's and dinosaurs, it all just makes sense.
Yeah.
So the writers behind this, the writers that Sony got for this, and I think with like Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who produced this one, they figured it out. They have like a science. And I'm pretty sure Phil Lord and Chris Miller also did the Lego movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they also make Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Those movies all make sense too. They also did 21 and 22 Jump Street.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's all them. You know what I mean? This cast is great in this movie. The animation's freaking sick.
Mm-hmm.
But like, getting back to your point, the story in this one is so dark,
It's cohesive.
and it makes sense, and it is not 100% like a kid's movie. The colors, the animation, the fast pace, yeah, but it pulls at your heartstrings a lot, and it really messes with like how serious superhero movies can get.
Mm-hmm.
So good job, Sony.
Bravo.
Hey, Disney,
Hey.
how about you watch this movie? Just watch it. Take some pointers. Write some notes.
Right. Although, never mind. We're not going to get into that. Next one
We
on
can
the
get into
list.
anything.
We can get into anything we want.
This is our show.
We do have 2 more movies to talk about, though.
Okay.
Number 2, Super Mario Brothers.
The Super Mario
It's
Brothers?
Super Mario Brothers.
No, that's not the voice. Do the real voice.
Super
No,
Mario.
do the real voice.
Super.
No, do you want me to do it? Hi, I'm Mario.
Hey, it's Mario.
Hi, this is not Chris Pratt. This Mario.
Hi. Hi.
Howdy, I'm Mario.
Howdy, partner.
We could
It's
all
a
be-
Mario.
We could all be Mario.
And it's a me, Luigi.
Sure. So Mario brought in a whopping $577,934,330 in the domestic box office.
Mm.
That's a good chunk of change. That's some money. Are you dying?
I'm okay.
You promise?
Yeah.
They can't do the show without you, man.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because just being in the morning sounds weird.
Just be in the morning.
Did you see this movie in theaters?
I did. Wait, did I?
I don't know.
No, I did not.
I don't remember if I did.
Come on, I did. I
Yeah,
did for
yeah,
sure.
For sure.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I know I didn't. I didn't.
No.
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 No. Mm-mm. Nuh-uh.
But you have seen it.
I've seen it
Did you like it?
twice.
Yeah.
I've
I've seen it a million times. I'm not even
I'm
kidding.
sure you had. I did really like it. I
It's
liked it
great.
a lot.
Yeah.
It is surprising that so many people went to watch it though.
when they were hating on
they
it
were
so much?
Yeah, after the first trailer, they
Yeah.
were like, "That's not a Mario voice."
Well, Chris Pratt really didn't do a voice for this movie.
Well, actually, I don't think Toad would have such a deep voice.
Who's voicing Bowser? He sounds stupid.
Ugh.
Ooh, Seth Rogen's in this.
Ugh.
Honestly, when you get past all the hate and the negative comments,
It's great.
it's casted really well. I
is.
liked Charlie Day as Luigi a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rogen works as Donkey Kong for how they portray him in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Black's the only person that could play Bowser in my mind now, you know?
I didn't hate anything about the casting
Mm-hmm.
or when they first announced it, I was like,
Really?
What?
Yeah. But I liked this movie a lot. I think the animation worked really well because it looked like I don't know if this makes sense, but did you play Mario 64 back in the day?
Uh-huh.
And when you see videos or clips of it now, does it look like how you remember it looking like?
No.
No, because in your head it looks like this movie, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's how you filled all the gaps.
I know what you're talking about.
So I think the movie was bright, colorful. It made sense. It had a good story. It had a lot of elements from all the games that we love, that we grew up playing.
All the Easter eggs.
Yeah, it had so many Easter eggs, so many fun things to find. And as soon as you get past the fact that Mario doesn't sound the way that you think Mario does, it's good. It's a great movie.
Which I was a little upset about that. I'm like, you know what? He needs to be, it's a me, a Mario, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's a me, a Mario.
So I want to ask you a question. If I just played that voice line for you for 2.5 hours, would it get annoying?
Yeah.
And that's probably why they did not go that route.
Sure. And I was one of the people that was upset about it, but it worked.
Mm-hmm.
It did. Watching the movie, I wasn't like,
I'm mad. Original Nintendo fan.
every time he talked.
Not my Mario.
Not my Mario. But like you said, once you get past that, and there wasn't much to get past, it's just like acceptance, right?
Mm-hmm.
You watch the movie, you know he's not going to sound like Mario.
Mm-hmm. Accept it.
Accept it.
And watch the movie. There's cool scenes.
It's great.
There's Smash Bros references. There's friggin' Mario Kart references. There's OG Mario references from when he wasn't even named Mario.
Donkey Kong references.
When they showed Diddy Kong, lost my stuff, man.
Just for a second, too.
Because Diddy Kong Racing was one of my favorite games as a kid.
Yeah.
I love Diddy.
I still have it.
Why aren't we playing it right now?
I don't know.
But I really love this movie, and I think it's great that a video game movie finally figured out something.
Yep.
And I'm glad it's a Nintendo movie because the old live action Mario Brothers movie made Nintendo not want to make movies of their games ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So they figured something out for this one. They did it right. Good job, Universal.
Good job.
Now they're talking about doing a Legend of Zelda show or movie.
Really?
Which comes up a lot, honestly. But
well, that's been in talks for a long time.
It's just because the source material is so awesome. You know, it's another adventure similar to Lord of the Rings or whatever.
It's something that they need to figure out and do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And we've never heard Link talk.
So you got to decide right now: is he gonna talk or is he not gonna talk?
Is he not gonna talk? And if he talks,
you
hey, you hire the best gosh darn voice actor you can find.
And the way you test them out is with one sound.
Yeah,
that's the one. Or
which one?
You know the one. Yeah, there you go. Those are the ones. You just test them on those.
Fucking hired. I'm hired. I'm out.
Yeah. You're the new voice of Link.
I just got a call from my agent.
You have an agent?
I'm out.
It's a no from me, dog.
It's a no for me. I'm coming with you.
But Mario, great. Good
Great.
job. Awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool because they also like.
Oh, wait, one more. He's riding the horse. Whoa.
They also opened up Nintendo World at Universal Studios.
Yeah, that is fucking amazing.
I want to go so bad.
I saw it. I got to see it before it opened.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a pre-show.
Oh.
Yeah, they were letting like 100 people in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then they they ended up letting in a lot more people.
Yeah, they were like, you know what, we can do it.
It's sick.
Just go for it.
But yeah,
Just
it
get
was
in
like
there.
it was like the week before it opened. I was at Universal, and they were like, "Yeah, come on in."
Sick invite.
And you literally go through a pipe,
a warp
the
pipe, yeah.
and it was like, bloop, 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 bloop.
I want to go so bad.
It's awesome, dude.
When can we go to Universal? Because I have not been since 2010.
Let's go this year.
Let's go.
Let's save up.
We'll sleep in my car.
Save up some money so we can get the fast passes. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But also number 1 on this list.
We can talk about it, but not too much because we did talk about it last week.
Yeah, we did talk about it last week. But number 1, highest grossing film of 2023. Should we say it together or just like a 3, 2, 1?
Barbie.
There we go. We did it. Barbie brought in $636,219,187 domestic bucks.
Doll hairs.
They changed it from box office to bucks office. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's the dumbest joke I've made.
We're
going to end the episode right here, right now.
Barbie brought in 6 million doll hairs.
Yeah, because Barbie's a doll. Real fast. Let's talk about Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really kind of fun that the highest grossing films, the top 4, are all like toys and games and comics stuff. That's kind of fun.
That is very fun.
I think that's pretty interesting. Barbie, we already discussed. That movie wasn't really made for us.
Yeah. So as we talked about last week.
Right.
And it definitely wasn't, but it was still a fun movie to watch.
It's got some great scenes, some great moments, some really good writing. The fact that it was announced back in September 2009 and it just came out is insane.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man.
But look at the top 4 or the top 5 even.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those are remakes?
Technically, if you really want to get scientific with it, the Mario Brothers might be considered a remake.
Don't.
Spider-Man might be
give me
considered
that.
a remake.
I guess, but like, not really, because the Spider-Man is the what? Miles Morales. That's a completely different story.
Right. No, I'm saying if you want to be really, really like, I guess, cynical about it or specific with it even.
No, we're not. We're not, because
this is for the people in the comments who definitely comment on every video.
Are these movies remakes? Any of these? No, I don't think so.
And 2 of them are sequels.
Spider-Verse is
A sequel. Guardians 3.
Sequel. Originals, though.
Yeah, they weren't just rehashed things.
Exactly.
Exactly. If Across the Spider-Verse came out before Into the Spider-Verse, it would have still probably done well.
Well, yeah. On its own.
But yeah, none of them are remakes. That is I didn't even think about it until you pointed it out.
Mm-hmm.
So What does that tell you? What does that tell you, Disney?
Hey.
Little Mermaid number 6. You know why it was number 6? I don't know. I didn't see it. Because people were like,
The Little Mermaid's a good
singer.
singer.
What's her name? Hailey Berry Belly.
Yes, like
What's her name? Halle
Bailey.
Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey.
I kept wanting to say
Halle Berry.
Yeah, that's where Bailey. It comes from.
Yeah, she did great. She did good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people saw that movie just because they were like, really? But I haven't even heard a song from it.
I don't think she should have had dreads though. That's my only complaint.
I don't know why they made the movie. I haven't seen it. Anyways, yeah, Barbie was good for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the sets. Like, they're all practical sets,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was really, really, just really well done.
Yeah.
I really like the transition scenes where they come to the real world,
like,
and like the set like breaks apart like it's a play.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The actors were all really great. I think there might have been some parts in the real world scenes that were too goofy. You know when they're chasing Barbie out of the building, the Mattel building?
Mm-hmm.
I think it looked a little too goofy. A little too goofy.
Yeah.
But also Will Ferrell can just be goofy and I laugh at it, you know?
Right?
So
Will Ferrell can never do wrong.
I bet you he could, but that's it. That's our list of movies, man. I don't know what else you want from me. Out of this list, or just movies you saw this year in general, what would you say was your favorite?
I'm gonna go with out of this list.
Okay.
I'll give you 2.
I asked for 1.
Never mind. I won't give you 2. I'll give you 1 from our list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's a toss up between Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, I think Guardians of the Galaxy takes it.
Yeah.
In my opinion. By far one of the best Marvel movies in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
My new favorite Marvel movie is Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
That's definitive right now. You heard it here first.
That's
folks.
it. You heard it here first.
From this list, man, I'm gonna have to give it to Spider-Man just because I've only seen Guardians a handful of times. It could change if I watch Guardians again, maybe.
Yeah.
But also, I think it'll be really definitive that Across the Spider-Verse was my favorite, or just Spider-Verse in general is kind of what we're calling it now for the Miles verse.
Yeah.
Once that second part comes out,
it's over.
You can watch the first
over.
and second part back to back. I don't know. I've never been more excited for like a 5-hour long movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Game over.
Cause how long was this one? Do you remember? It felt pretty long.
2.5, I think.
That's 140 minutes, 2 hours.
2 hours?
Right? 120 is 2 hours.
120.
2 hours, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So just add another one, 5 hours. You know what I mean? I'm down for that. If it's this movie, I'm down.
The third one's 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes. Like, we didn't say how long part 2 was.
It's just part 3 is just the ending.
Yeah.
The last scene. God.
But I will say in Spider-Man, there was a couple times where I was like, this is where they're going to end it. And then they didn't. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think Spider-Man and Guardians, those are top 2. Super Mario Bros. Though is pretty high up there as well.
Speaking of Spider-Man, on part 3, they ended on such a fucking climax.
On Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ended it with such a intense cliffhanger climax.
Yeah.
That I can't even imagine like how they're gonna do more. You know?
I think I have my opinions and my theories, and we can save them. That's what the signal is.
It was just a comment.
Yeah, but
we don't have to talk about it.
You can't just make a comment when we like talking about this.
Yeah,
shit.
we do. But that could be a whole episode. Do you understand?
Do you want a whole episode, or do you want us to just do it now? Another 3 hours.
We could do a whole episode.
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking around.
I know. But we were like, we're closing. We're closing.
But
I made a comment.
I'm also just gonna say, this is our freaking show, man.
We can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. This is true.
But also, I'm tired. I want to go home and sleep.
That's true. This is true.
So, where can all the people find us on social media? It's like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch. Where at?
At BG in the morning _.
And then also like on YouTube.
At BG in the morning podcast.
Where they could like, subscribe, and what else?
Hit that bell, baby.
And there's another thing they can do.
Leave a comment.
What was your favorite movie of 2023?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be one from our list, but it make more sense because that's what we talked about.
Right.
Or do you have any recommendations from 2023 that we might have missed out on?
Out of the 18,000 movies that came out.
18,000 movies. But thanks so much for listening to BJ in the Morning. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Juan.
And we
will
talk
to
you
next time.
Next. I missed it again. I always seem to miss it. But